Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of the NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we go racing in the Xfinity Series as well as the Cup Series at Watkins Glen. But first we have some breaking news here coming into today's episode, and it involves Front Row Motorsports driver Michael McDowell has announced today that this will be his final season in the NASCAR Cup Series. I've had a fun time in NASCAR over several years at the top level, but now look to focus on other things beside racing, McDowell said. So it is unclear who will drive the 34 next season, but it is also unclear if there will even be a 3-car team for Front Row next season. It might actually reduce to 2 cars. So keep an eye out on that. I'll have another announcement coming up soon. But McDowell retiring from the career mode here this season. Now, as we come through though into the race weekend for the Xfinity Series, where, as you guys know, I like to do some Formula One NASCAR type of crossovers, being a big Formula One fan myself. So I decided this time here for our Xfinity Series team for Watkins Glen, we brought in F1 driver Alex Albon, or should I say former F1 driver, for probably a season or two until he comes back. Obviously lost his ride at Red Bull to Sergio Perez. Now, as we would get underway here though in Watkins Glen, so Albon in our number 24 car. Last season we had Lando Norris from the McLaren F1 team in our car, and he actually managed to pick up the victory. So we had Albon with some high hopes here. Unfortunately, he didn't have the greatest qualifying effort, and our car was a little bit off the paces. I kind of messed up the R&D upgrades for the road course car, so I wasn't expecting a win in this episode here from the Xfinity side of things. Now, as Alex would actually go 3 wide, just about there to the right hand side of Deegan and the 11 of Haley, but couldn't quite make it happen now, as he would though be able to get past the 11 of Justin Haley. As you guys know, Haley will drive the number 16 car in the career mode next season in the Cup Series as one of our rookies now, as he would be right on the back there of the 98 of Deegan as he came through out of the bus stop into now the carousel, and he would pass the 98 and get to the back of the 39, and then by the time we came through into the penultimate corner, now Albon would make the pass on that 39 of Ryan Sieg and just kind of continue to slowly but surely move his way forwards here as this race went on. So we come through now out of the final corner. He would get clear of those 2 cars, and then by the time we came through a few laps later, he had now run down the 36 of Alex Labay and a former F1 driver himself of Kevin Magnussen. So we got 2 former F1 drivers going at it right here, but Albon would pass Magnussen very easily. As you guys know, Magnussen full-time in the Xfinity Series this season, and I would actually look for him to maybe make a Cup start or 2 next season in the career mode, or maybe as soon as the Charlotte Roval this season in the career mode. Now, as you might see him just make a few one-off starts on the road courses, but now this was actually on the final lap as he came through down the front straightaway here. So it was going to be a top 10 finish for Alex Albon now as he came through to cross the line just in front of Kevin Magnussen, the former Haas F1 driver. So it was P4 and P5 for the 2 F1 drivers. There's Sam Mayer, picked up the victory. Now that is 2 road course victories, I think, for Sam Mayer here in the last few episodes. So he has now in his rookie season picked up 3 wins, as he seems to be picking it up a little bit now as we come through into the Cup Series. I didn't do a live playoff grid for this one, for this episode, because things kind of got spread out a little bit in terms of the playoff points, so I didn't feel a need to. But we come through into the start of our qualifying lap here with the NZXT paint scheme back on the car. Watkins Glen, of course, being one of my favorite tracks on the NASCAR schedule, so I was very excited to see what we could put down here in qualifying with a goal of a 109.322, and we came through into the final corner and out of the final corner, and I knew it was going to be a solid lap, and I was confident we were going to beat the goal that was put on for us. So we come through down the front straightaway, and we easily beat the goal with a 108.053 and qualify P3 for the Go Bowling at the Glen here in Watkins Glen. So a very strong qualifying effort, putting us P3 behind Zane Smith, the rookie, who is in a must-win situation to get in the playoffs, and our teammate of Chase Elliott. We've had 2 battles with Chase Elliott for a win this season. He's come out on top both times, and it looks like it's shaping up already to be another battle between himself and I today in Watkins Glen as Timmy Hill starts at the very bottom of the field. Looks like it's going to be between me and Chase today. I think we can get past the 7, no problem, but hopefully he doesn't make it 3-0 on us. Hopefully we can at least get it to 2-1. So I'll give it everything I got today, guys. Let's go get win number 5. We won the last road course in Sonoma. I'm confident we can do it again. Chase Elliott finally showing up at a road course here in the career mode now. He's qualified good. I think he qualified up front at Sonoma, actually fell off, so you never know. That could happen again here today. Now, as you see, though, Chase Elliott's car is really fast today, so definitely going to be tough to beat him now as we're going to get ready to go green right behind him in line here in the number 24 NZXT paint scheme, with Zane Smith joining Elliott on the front row, Martin Truex Jr. in P4 beside myself now, as a green flag is out and the Go Bowling at the Glen is underway. Now, as they started me so far to the right, I actually thought I was was in the right lane there, nearly turned into the side of the 19, but we go down into turns 1, very calm and just kind of safe as possible there, make sure I didn't run into the back of our teammate of Elliott, but immediately get on the attack to that left-hand side of the 7 of Zane Smith, and sure enough, just like that, already up into second place here, as Elliott is already trying to open up a nice gap here, as behind us there's drivers like Noah Gregson, Bubba Wallace going at it, both Bubba and Gregson trying to get their way into the playoffs on points. Gregson has been close to winning a few races this season, most notably the last time out at Michigan, but a caution came out due to myself and Joey Logano coming together when Logano came into the pit lane unexpectedly coming to the final lap, and that put Gregson in second place when the caution came out and ended the race, giving Kyle Busch the victory. Now as we came through out of the carousel, you can already see myself, Chase Elliott have opened up a huge gap already in just the first lap of this race to third place on back. So I immediately knew it was going to be down between myself and our teammate of Chase Elliott here. And as I mentioned on the radio before the race, Elliott currently, we've had 2 battles for wins this season, and Elliott has made it 2-0 in terms of the win column. So hopefully we can at least make it 2-1 today and get a little bit closer, and hopefully later down the line get even with him. Now as we came through though on lap 2 through the bus stop, I was doing everything I could to just try and stick with the number 9 car of Chase Elliott, because he was setting an extreme pace, and by the time it came to 2 laps to go in stage 1, these guys know the first 2 stages at all road courses very short. The 9 car though was opening up the gap, just consistently driving away from myself. And I've had a history of getting off to slow starts here at road courses, as you see, a bit of a mistake from myself, but I wasn't too concerned yet, like I said, because I knew I do have a history of getting off to slow starts at road courses here in the career mode. Now, as we came through to start the final lap now, in stage 1, and Elliott had a very, very comfortable gap between himself and I, and we had a very comfortable gap ourselves between myself and third place of Zane Smith. Smith, like I mentioned, in a must-win situation, so P3 right now is going to get him nowhere, but he's still having a solid regular season, or in his rookie season, but it appears that Austin Cindric already is going to pretty much win the Rookie of the Year now, as we came through down into the bus stop for the final time here in stage 1, doing what I can to just try and learn something and see where I can gain on that 9 car, and I always feel a lot stronger through the bus stop than the drivers in front of us. I feel like basically after turns 1, we go through the S's bus stop, we gain a lot of time, but then through the penultimate corner here into the final corner in turn 1, I feel like we're always losing time. So we come through though into the final corner here in stage 1, Elliott cruising to the stage victories. I get sideways, I overcorrect into the guardrail, and all of a sudden we damage the front end of the car. A big mishap from myself, and no reason to do that whatsoever, as we were cruising to P2, and now we're going to have a whole bunch of damage to repair, which is going to be a huge setback for the start of the second stage. I'm so sorry, guys. That was all on me. I overcorrected the car. I was pushing way too hard when I didn't need to be. That was just completely stupid. Now you heard myself on the radio. As you see the top 10, Bubba Wallace, Noah Gregson, we got Alex Bowman up there in the top 10, 3 drivers that are really in an interesting spot in the playoff grid. But myself, the story on ourselves right now, I made a silly mistake right there. 11 seconds of repairs on the car. Surprisingly, we did not DNF, so that was a bit of a race saver that we didn't DNF, but now we're gonna have to go all the way to the back because nobody has to come into the pit lane here, so we will be starting at the very back here in P40. So now we are going to have to make one heck of a comeback here if we want to have any chance at beating Chase Elliott here today. Now as we get underway for the start of the second stage now, and for the start of stage 2, we're gonna go through into the AMP segment in road course style. The comeback is well underway now over the amp segment on the restart. We went from P40 now up to P16 as we lunge up the inside of the rookie of Todd Gilliland there in that number 6 car. So we would just get on the move. We attacked to the right hand side of our teammate Kyle Larson just a few corners later. I actually did clip the guardrail there with my right side. No damage done to the car, but we come through now into the bus stop getting very aggressive, just trying to gain as many positions as I can in the short period of time that we have here in this second stage. As Chase Elliott, you can see on the track map, he was driving away once again from everybody, so obviously we have no chance of getting anywhere near him in stage 2, and really the main goal was to just get to the top 10 as I lunge up the inside of our former teammate of Denny Hamlin. Actually went a little bit too deep into the corner, got into the side of him a little bit, but we would keep it as clean as possible, get up to now P12 as we came through to the final 2 laps of this second stage to the back of both Brad Keselowski as well as the 43 of Eric Almirola as we go down into turns 1. And now I'm going to go to the left hand side, go off the track a little bit, which is perfectly fine in NASCAR at Watkins Glen here as we come through into the S's. So we now clear the 43 of Almirola, move up into P11 and try to get to the back of the 10, or sorry, to the 2 of Keselowski for that 10th place and move ourselves up inside that top 10 here. So we've gained 29 positions now as there's smoke coming from the 0-2 of the McLaren of Eric Jones, who's already won his way into the playoffs, and thank goodness he has, because he goes spinning off the track into the bus stop, into the right side wall. Caution does not come out. Green flag is still out here because I do have the cautions on relax for the road courses, so that is a day over for Eric Jones. Like I said, he's picked up that victory at the first Michigan race. That does not affect him whatsoever. But now we came through out of the penultimate corner, heading down to the final corner, approaching the final lap here in stage 2. We now lunge up the inside of our teammate of Alex Bowman, and I honestly did not want to make that pass right there because Alex is in a spot where every single point matters right now, but we were so much faster than him as I lunge up the right side and clear the 17 of Chris Buescher with no problem at all, as well as we're going through into the bus stop for the final time here in stage 2. Chase Elliott just cruising to the stage victory because he was coming out of the carousel by the time second place was going into the carousel. That's how far ahead he was. He's already down into the penultimate corner. Now as we come through out of the carousel, though, no chance of running down 6th place, I believe, which is Austin Cindric. As you guys know, Cindric, a very good road course racer, of course, and here he is running strong today in that number 21, right behind 5th place of Bubba Wallace. Bubba trying to keep his chances of pointing himself into the playoffs alive now as we go through into this final corner here for the second stage now as we get a very solid exit, and this time we don't crash the car into the guardrail, thankfully, so we're going to come through down the front straightaway, crossing the line here to get P7. After starting stage 2 in P40, we gained 33 positions here, so what a comeback it has been so far. Good stuff, guys. Honestly, I did not expect to be 7th place after just a handful of laps in the second stage, but good stuff. I'll give it everything I got here to run down the 9, and hopefully we can beat them. There you hear some optimism on the radio now as everybody will be coming to the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel as well as 4 fresh tires. I did not feel a need to make any adjustments on the car. I didn't really think there was anything we could do to make it better. It's just about hitting my marks at this point as we actually gained 2 spots on the pit lane along with Bubba Wallace. So Bubba moves into P3, we move into P5. Elliott still leads with Zane Smith on the front row. Noah Gragson on row number 2 as a green flag is out, and the final stage is underway here in Watkins Glen with just 10 laps remaining now as we go down into turns 1. And every time we come to a road course, we usually have a really good finish unless it's Sonoma now as we came through into the S's, and most recently, or most notably, a few seasons ago when we had a very awesome duel with Jimmy Johnson in his final season of the career mode at Watkins Glen, and he picked up that first win of the season after a very subpar season, got himself into the playoffs, and went to win, what, 3 more races I believe it was before the season ended, and then he somehow managed to win the championship and become an 8-time champion to end his Cup Series career now in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. So that was so iconic to just witness now as we go down into the carousel, and I was trying to get moving on as quick as I could, but I was stuck behind Gragson and Bubba, who were battling side by side. But fortunately, Gragson gets clear there out of the carousel. Bubba's now trying to defend over the 21 of Cindric, but now I'm trying to get to that left-hand side of Gragson by the time we came through into the penultimate corner. I thought about lunging up the inside right here. I look to do so now as we go into the corner a little bit too deep, just a little bit of contact with the one car of Gragson, but we do not clear him going down into that final turn. But fortunately, out of the final turn, we clear him with no problem at all now as I nearly got into that left sidewall, but we come through now to complete the first and opening lap of this third and final stage, up now to P3 as we go down into turns 1, and we were very quickly closing in on the back of the 7 of Zane Smith, but we weren't really quickly closing in on the back of the 9 of Chase Elliott. So I knew we really had to get a move on it and hit our marks now. So we came through into the bus stop now on lap 16, lunging up the right-hand side. I think we caught the 7 of Smith way off guard there. We passed the rookie, move into second place here as we came through the carousel, and now we try to set our sights on the back of our teammate of Chase Elliott. Now it is going to be Elliott versus myself. Round number 3, Elliott has come out on top the first 2 times at Indianapolis as well as New Hampshire, but now we look to come out on top here today in Watkins Glen. But the 9 car has been setting an extremely fast pace all race long. Chase Elliott showing what he is capable of finally in this career mode on the road courses, as you guys know, so dominant in real life. But we came through on lap 18. We had now set a 107.760, I think it said there, which is actually our best lap at this point in the race now, as I hadn't been setting great laps there, but I make a bit of a mistake there out of turns 1 now on lap 18. Got a little bit sideways. The gap was down to 2 seconds now as we came through towards the end of lap 18. So we were closing a little bit at times through the bus stop especially, but then I make mistakes like that out of the final corner, hitting the wall. Fortunately, we don't actually do damage. It was just cosmetic, but just making mistakes. We came through out of turns 1 on lap 19. Another mistake right there. We get loose, and that gap had now opened up to over 3 seconds between myself and Chase Elliott. It gets even worse. There we go for a bit of a slide through the grass. Fortunately, it didn't cost us too much there, but then I even clipped the wall. It was now, like I said, 3 seconds between myself and Chase Elliott. So a bunch of the time we had gained had now been lost. So we came through out of the final corner now on lap 19, trying to just focus and hit our marks, but we're running out of time as we come through to 5 laps to go here in Watkins Glen, down to a 108.116 there with that lap as we go down into turns 1. But then the caution comes out with 5 laps to go here on the Go Bowling at the Glen, and this is going to force an overtime restart between myself and Chase Elliott. We've spent the whole stage just trying to run down the 9, as Chad Fincham has brought out the caution in his final race at Watkins Glen. He's not going to be in the career mode either, so I guess we could count him as a driver that is retiring. But now it's going to come down between myself, Elliott. Maybe if we come together, Zane Smith or Gregson could be in prime position to attack here. 3rd through 6th place, all looking for their first career win in the Cup Series. Elliott and myself both have several wins now in our Cup Series career as we get underway for the start of overtime. We're in the preferred lane here going into turns 1, but on the exit, Elliott might have more momentum now as we go down, lunging into the corner side by side here. I tried to make sure I didn't go too deep and run into the side of Elliott, at least keep it as clean as possible now as we're even out of the first corner, but he actually clears us. I get right into his right rear quarter panel there, trying to hold it back. Now we're side by side as we're coming up through the S's here with 2 laps to go in Watkins Glen, as we're still side by side. Smith, Gregson, 3rd, 4th, right behind us now as I got into the grass a little bit, allowing the 9 to get clear as we go down this back straightaway, approaching the bus stop here, which is our strongest point of the track. So we know we can get aggressive now as we get right to the back of the 9. We actually get into the back of the 9. Out of the bus stop, he's sideways off of our front bumper. A tremendous save by Chase Elliott in that 9 car, but we lunge up the right side through the carousel. We take the lead now with just a little bit over a lap remaining here, but we go a little bit wide, opening the door for the 9 to get to the back of us now as we go down this straightaway towards the penultimate corner. Elliott looking to our right rear quarter panel as he's going to be at our door as he breaks a little bit later than myself into this penultimate corner, but we do stay clear of him on the exit now as we go down to the final turn, approaching the final lap here in the Go Bowling at the Glen. As I shifted down into 2nd gear, the car just kind of kicked out there, almost turned into a bit of an incident, but we hold on now as we come through to start the final lap. As Elliott, if he loses this race, he's going to be so frustrated as he was just cruising to victory. But when you put us in an overtime scenario, we always have a chance to make something happen, and we are proving that right here now as we go a little bit wide out of turns 1. That was on purpose because we just get a better run out of the corner now, as Elliott still was able to close in on the back of myself as we come through. The S is going a little bit wide there on that first one through the grass a little bit, but that really didn't hurt us too much now as we come through down this back straightaway for the final time here in Watkins Glen. Is down between myself and Elliott, Smith, Gregson, Cindric, Bubba Wallace all a little bit too far back now, unless both of us crash, of course, as we go into the bus stop for the final time. Just making sure I get through here with no problems at all, and sure enough, we get through there cleanly now as we go down into the carousel for the final time, as it appears that we have maybe stolen a win from Chase Elliott, who was about to tie us for 4 wins on the season, but now we're looking for win number 5 and to sweep the first 2 road courses of the season now as Elliott closes up the gap a little bit as we go down towards the penultimate corner for the final time here in Watkins Glen. He gets even closer. We go a little bit wide down the 9 car, looks up the left-hand side. We're going to be side by side for the win into the final turn. We clear the 9, but now he crosses us over out of the final corner side by side, coming down the front straightaway now as he's at our quarter panel, but it's not enough. We hold the 9 car off and we win in Watkins Glen. What an overtime scrap between myself and Chase Elliott, and that sets the record to 2 wins for Chase Elliott, 1 for myself in our 3 battles we've had for a win this season. So 2-1 still in favor of Chase Elliott, but we steal the win. Obviously, if it stayed green, there was no chance anyone was running down the 9 car, so we just kind of caught him off guard, and overtime was able to hold him off. Honestly, I think if it went longer than that, there was no chance we were going to win, but Chase Elliott comes up just short there in P2, and instead of getting win number 4 to tie us, he has to settle for win number 3, or staying at 3 wins, I should say, and get us win number 5 here at Watkins Glen, as we have won both of the road courses so far this season. Now, as we see the rest of the finishing order on your screen, drivers like Denny Hamlin, Harvick down there in the mid-teens. Then we got Daniel Suarez down in the mid-20s. And then at the very bottom, we got Brandon Jones and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., both those drivers DNF. So now we're going to check out the playoff grid to see what happened there, as we're just really hoping for no surprise winners in the final 2 races of the regular season in the Cup Series side of things. So Dover and Daytona are the final 2 races of the regular season. I actually have a very special paint scheme lined up for Daytona that I will reveal at the Daytona episode now, as I made it myself, and I can't wait for you guys to see that. If you're on the NASCAR Heat Reddit or in my Discord, you can actually kind of see it now before it gets shown on YouTube. But we're going to check out the playoff grid here. So Chase Briscoe, I should mention Kyle Larson back inside the playoffs after Watkins Glen. Briscoe, Custer, Bowman, all out by less than 30, so it's still going to be close in the final 2 races. Bubba Wallace is closed up to 38. Blaney is now 62 out, as he continues to just kind of have a downfall, and really it's kind of bad time for him now, as his ride right now is in jeopardy here in the career mode. But before we end this episode, I just want to say thank you to the Going Racing members of MJ, Aiden, James, Jackson, Dylan, Joseph 9001, RJ, Timothy, Bubba Jr., Illinois Diecast, NASCAR on Dogs, Devin Roth, Eric Chouette, as well as Matthias Hansen. You guys help me out a lot, as I always say, and I appreciate it. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time out of their day to watch this episode. And now we'll see you guys in the next one, where we start Dover for the second to last race of the regular season. Have a great day, everybody.